And for the third one, we got the ice skating rink. This is kind of very big area, and Garfield is and it's one of those controls where Garfield will always just kind of go forward no matter what. And you just gotta, and one has to change his direction, varying, you know, here and there. It doesn't work out too well. Most of the time, Garfield just fucking crashes into things. So what the apparent goal of this is to follow the chocolate footprints. Garfield can eat them to regain his energy, but following the chocolate footprints will, you know, hypothetically lead us to the chicken. But every time we get to another path, we see that it's somehow broken by these little snowbanks, and then we have to go around. And this is where the problem gets to. There's a bunch of weird shit in here. Like for instance, also Garfield, there's this little line of footprints that goes right into the water. Now it's feasible to say that a person would assume that, hey, I have to jump over the water and onto this little stairway. However, if one does that, they bounce off of the snow and land in the water, and that's game over. Yeah, they have game overs in this section. Garfield can land in the water just fine, but if Garfield like falls over, he'll just go to the space right behind him. But if that space right behind him is water, he'll just kind of sink into the water. Like, it's kind of weird. But keep in mind, Garfield, that in order to beat the game, we have to do the skiing and all that switch turning with the factory. So if we were playing this after beating those and then we got stuck in the water, we'd have to do them all over again. So yeah, the fact they put game overs here just shows how, you know, insurmountable this is. Oh yeah, there's also a fucking time limit, according to the manual. This is about as far as I got at Garfield. I got to this little section. To the right of it, I can see some more chocolate footprints. And so that means we gotta go around, right? But going down and to the left, we just end up at the thin ice section, which we can't go to, and then there's just no way to go with that. So that means that there's like these two little paths. One of the paths has a tire, and Garfield was always bounce off the tire, and the other one has three cracks in the ice. And then so I'm guessing they want us to jump over it, but the way that Garfield jumps, I don't know if it's fucking physically impossible. I don't know if it's physically possible. I mean, like right here, Garfield, we're in the air. I'm pausing it, and I'm gonna unpause it and see if we can jump. And then when Garfield lands, he's only got one skate, and so we only have like a few frames before Garfield will fall in the water. Now, if Garfield falls in this water, actually, there's no way to get back out. Garfield needs enough time to be able to jump. He can't jump from a standing position. In order to get enough momentum so that he can jump, we end up in the water. So we just end up kind of in this spot between a fucking tire, a snow thing, and the fucking cold water, and I think this is required in order to get through the game. And the other side has a tire which Garfield can't jump over, so that basically means he can't get through it. So that's basically just, what's the point? So we got this little section. I don't know. I think this is it. I think this is where we have to go. There's no way I can do that. There's no way. I can't even slow down this fucking emulator to the point. You know, I reminded Garfield that we have to do this section after doing the other two, and if we lose in this one or reset, we have to do those over again if we want to beat the game. I just don't think it can be done. Like, the Spectrum walkthrough that I saw from RZX Archive, without whom I couldn't even have gotten, like, even as close as I did. The only section that's different between those two versions, the Commodore Amiga version and the Spectrum version, is this ice skating level. And the only, like, it was like a lot different though, because in the Spectrum version, like, it shows him being in the game, like all the game, right? He's able to jump over like the smaller snowbanks, which is impossible in the Amiga version, and he can also jump over like lots of things. The only thing Garfield can jump over in this one is fucking nothing, just the water. I know it's supposed to be a maze, but fuck it. What's the fucking point? Like what's the point of making a game that, for one, doesn't even seem like it can be beaten? Like, I didn't know I could beat it. I just thought it was And just saying that like these 3 games, that they're like supposed to be mini games by themselves, and that's supposed to be like a person is supposed to be able to have a good time just with the games themselves. They don't play very well. I guess I can't stand it. I can't stand any of it. I can't. No. And to be honest, what's why do I need to do this? With Garfield, I mean, I've been playing this game for like a month, so everything that's going on, and stuff like that, I've kind of gotten used to it. But it was a little bit difficult for me, but I eventually had to basically concede. I had to say that I wasn't gonna beat this game, at least not for now. I guess that means that if we want to see the ending, we'll have to look it up. So we did. This is the Commodore 64 version of the ending, which means the graphics won't be as good and there's no music. But who fucking cares? I don't. Alright, Garfield, this is a Commodore 64 version, like I said, provided for us by the very kind folks at c64endings.co.uk. Oh, there is music. I didn't know there was music. It's the same music. This actually kind of sounds like heavier. This is actually, oh my god, he's got another hat. This part of the game is actually called the Swiss Village, as mentioned in the manual. Goes up to the chicken. It looks like more like a cardinal. What's going on? What the fuck's up with Garfield's face? No, there's more. Why is he sad? Didn't he want to find the chickens? That didn't make any fucking sense at all. I have no idea what in the world that was. I mean, just the fact that in a skiing game, that the only thing a person has to do to win is just make one jump. Just do that one thing when there's so many things else going on the screen. Yeah. And then the chocolate factory, like, it's kind of misleading. Like, it's almost like a little bit devious that they put in the manual that we have to turn them all on. When Garfield, we know that we only have to turn them on all one at a time. They don't all have to be on concurrently. They don't, just one at a time. And then I can't say anything about the ice skating game because I think that thing looks unbeatable. That gives there's no walkthroughs, there's no guides, there's no hints. The manual doesn't say exactly what to do. It just says that we have to go from one end of the lake to the other and then follow the chocolate footprints. But doing that, it just ends up, I mean, I understand it's supposed to be a maze. It's supposed to be like points that don't lead anywhere, things that we get turned around, but it's just so, it's flabbergasting. All this level and this game entirely, but specifically this skating level, because there'll just be like stuff popped up just wherever, and it doesn't make any sense. And so the only why put a puddle here? It's not doing anything. Why put this there? There is a section of the game towards the bottom where it looks like there's a bunch of chocolate footprints, which we're trying to get. And what do? When we go there, we fall into thin ice. Now it says thin ice right there, but there are sections of this level where there's thin ice. It doesn't say thin ice, it just shows chocolate footprints. So that means that players will play this game and be like, oh look, chocolate footprints, I'll go follow them and get some, and that's what I'm supposed to do. And then the game developers are like, ha ha ha, that's what you get, ha ha ha. So yeah, fuck them. And there's just like a bunch of stuff here. Like, I just don't understand what they wanted to do with this game. Like, I don't think they wanted kids to beat it. I don't think it's my only suggestion in terms to make any sense out of this is that the people that make the games at the Edge, they're artists and programmers, but they're not designers. They don't know anything about what makes a good game, but they know what makes a game look good. And since this is just another example, and then so people will see the game and be like, hey, it looks kind of enjoyable, and then realize that it's not. I mean, there's no way, like, what's unfortunate is that I don't have very much experience with Amiga games. Amiga games are just old PC games in general, or old computer games in general. But with this and the first Garfield game, oh man, I just feel so bad. So I'm trying to say, Garfield, is that as of right now with us, I don't know how to beat this. I don't know how to beat this, and I don't think there's anybody out there that does. I think it's just odd that by going to fucking YouTube and searching this game, that there is four or five hits that actually deal with it. One of them doesn't beat the game. One of them, I don't know what it is. and then the only walkthrough of there is from the ZX, and they also show the ending for the Commodore 64 version. I'm just saying that it's kind of strange that even with all the internet out there and all the people out there, that no one's ever, there aren't any long plays, there aren't any, they don't show the ending at all, they don't show the full game of Garfield Winter's Tale for the Amiga. I'm just saying that it's you know, kind of branching off on the possibility that perhaps that no one's ever beaten this game. Ever. It's rare, yes, I don't think it's happened, but I have a good enough feeling that there's no one that cares about this game, and there's no one that has definitely not cared enough to nowadays go in there and try to beat it. Because the ZX, the RZX archive, I think is what it's called, that walkthrough video for the Spectrum version of the ZX Spectrum version of the game, for the ZX Spectrum version of the game, the ice skating level is different. Which is weird because its downhill skiing level wasn't different, and neither was the Chocolate Factory bullshit. That shit was all the same. In fact, I guess I will say like the graphics are okay, and the music isn't bad either. That's something that I just kind of heightens like what I was saying about it, you know? Like, I think the Edge really knew how to sell a game, and to make it sell, it has to like, you know, it has to be aesthetically pleasing. It has to appear, sound good, but they just don't know how to fucking, they didn't know how to make a game. Not even close. It's like, the way I feel about this game is that the Edge says, okay, we're gonna play a game. I'm like, okay, Edge, I'm cool with that. And the Edge says, okay, guess what number I'm thinking of? And I'm like, okay. And even if I guess right, they change it. They say, oh, no. I'm like, so like if like that's how I'm gonna compare this. Garfield's Winter's Tale is like someone's trying to cheat.